Hello, hello, everybody. It is Alchemy Wednesday, and today I really want to go over 5 ways to tap into quantum expansion energy. And working with quantum energy is one of my favorite things to do. If you haven't already followed me on TikTok, I'm doing specific quantum leaping, quantum jumping videos and talking about quantum entanglement. Over on there, definitely follow me. You can put in the Fairy Medicine Woman or bougie_savage, and you will find me. Or it's also below. You will find it in my link tree. So make sure you have your notebook. I'm going to go over 5 tips and also give you reflection questions. And if at some point you miss a bullet point or you miss a question, you can always go back and watch the replay. I'm going to be posting it. So the first point that I want to go into is claim your future timeline as the only reality. I was talking about this a little bit yesterday in the live. It's important to remember that quantum expansion begins when you stop negotiating with your doubt and start walking in your future as if it's already done. And I sometimes people confuse when they are jumping into quantum wealth or jumping into their future that means I'm just going to spend all of my money and like hope that it comes back, but that only really works if you are already holding the energy of your future self and you actually know that the money is going to come back. Otherwise, you just put your money into the universe and then you manifest it not coming back because you don't actually believe it will. And one of the most important things you can do is to begin embodying your highest self. I know that shared a lot, but it also means within the wealth space, if you are magnetizing wealth, setting up those accounts that you need, making sure you're staying on top of your finances, creating goals for yourself if you have a business or not. If you're like, I want to retire by a certain age, what do you need to do to retire by that certain age? Even if you feel like, I don't know how I'm going to accomplish that, just you putting yourself into the energy is going to make it easier for you to get there. It's the same thing with romance, relationships, or if you're already in a relationship and you both have a goal or a group of you have a goal to live a certain place or make this amount of money or retire together, what do you need to do to get there so that you can start taking the steps? And then the next one is to remember your empowerment and remember the ease, right? Because it's not when you are working with quantum energy and quantum expansion, if you put out the energy of force and misaligned decision making, that is what you're going to get back. So I highly recommend you don't do that. And remember to sit within a really balanced and grounded energy. Hi, how are you? So that you can manifest it. And I had also said yesterday that one of the things that I have conditioned myself to do from my generational healing journey and my manifestation journey is also telling myself that there is no other reality other than the reality where I am the best at at this, or I make this amount of money, or I magnetize these opportunities. This is how my friends look. This is how love looks. I don't entertain anything else. So that is another way to explain this, because when you're trying to negotiate with doubt and fear, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. So you have to spend time getting to the root of that doubt and fear so that you can release it and truly step into your most empowered timeline. So a journal prompt that you can write down for yourself is, if the version of me who already has it, if the version of me who walks in the room right now, no, hold on. If you walked into the room right now, a different version of you, what would they tell you to stop doing, and what would they tell you to do more of? And be really honest with yourself. You're also welcome to write it in the chat. So if your highest version of yourself on your highest timeline stepped into the room, what would they do? What would they say to you? Would they laugh? Would they cheer you on? Would they give you a hug? Would they tell you, hey, you keep sabotaging yourself, why don't you try this? right? So then you can actually be in the energy of making decisions as your highest self so that you can align with that quantum jumping energy and that becomes your only reality, right? Because a lot of people like to spend time in just the visions, but you have to change your embodiment and the frequency you hold to match that energy and ascend there. So you catch the wind and you end up there. Making sense? Um, the next one is align your energy system with your next level. So your manifestations don't come from forcing, as I was hinting at earlier. They come from your capacity to hold more without collapsing. That's a big one. Regulated nervous system equals the quantum speed. So if you're trying to manifest money into your life or you're trying to manifest a partner or opportunities for your business in a very quick way, and you know that your manifestation feels big, but you can barely meditate. Like if you can barely meditate, if you can barely handle, feedback and that sort of thing, or be in spaces with other people, even though you know you're going to be visible, start with that. Because if you're someone who feels like they're stepping into the spotlight, you have to be able to be within community. You have to be able to shield your energy. You have to be able to advocate for yourself so that you can get what you need. And that's where the quantum speed comes from, right? So it's regulating your nervous system, because if you crash every time you have conversations with people or every time you try and create change in your life, there's no way you're going to be able to pick up speed, because you can't hold the frequency of the larger manifestation that's trying to come to you quickly. That's why sometimes if you're manifesting something, you might feel like something's coming and you don't know what it is, but you can initially feel it. You feel it in your gut, you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your body, and then you're like, oh, that's a really that's something big. The same thing happened to me when I first spiritually awakened, and it felt like someone punched me in the stomach, and I immediately shifted into expanding my energy and meditating in a different way, so that I was so aligned with my manifestation that all I had to do was receive it. And that looked like eating better, exercising better, clearing out clutter, getting rid of physical stuff in my space, changing my business, letting things go. Like it was very back to back, so that I could welcome in this new version of me, which is welcoming in new energy. So a question you can reflect on for that is, what emotions or sensations show up when I think of my next level, and how can I soothe them without shrinking my vision? So self-soothing is really important. It's what we also teach to children, but you still need it for your quantum jumping. And for a lot of you who are extremely gifted and extremely sensitive to energy, if you don't know how to control those sensations, if you don't know how to interact with large energies, large crowds, and you want to be visible, it's not gonna work. Um, and try not to make it seem like it's going to be a big hurdle, because it's not. All it takes is practice, right? There's a lot of spiritual teachers, there's a lot of spiritual guides like myself who are in front of a lot of people, around a lot of people all the time, and we stay grounded and we know how to heal, but we're constantly taking care of ourselves and we're ruthless with our peace. Right? So because our emotions and the way we live our life dictates how we can interact with other energy. And if we are not regulated, we also can't help, right? It's chaotic energy and we can't do the leaps that we need to. So the third part is choose frequency over circumstances. So your current reality is irrelevant. Not that you shouldn't acknowledge it, but try not to make it your main priority when you are trying to quantum leap and work with quantum energy. Your frequency is your GPS, aka your emotions and your highest timeline. Like that's where you're going. And the only way to get there is energy to energy. You have to match it so that you can attach to it. Every time you choose the vibe over what's visible, you expand the quantum field around you. So you basically energetically tell your reality that this is not your reality and I'm changing it. You do that, energy responds around you. It's very much so how Like this happens every time I hit big leaps, and it's happened like a bajillion times in my life. If I change my identity somehow, like when I was choosing to go by Bougie Savage and when I went by ZB Savage, I said it to myself. I changed my energy. I just shifted like really, really massively, and then it was echoed back to me without anybody saying anything to me. So they would be like, "Oh, I'm Savage, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "I'm Savage as well," and then we would have a whole conversation about it. Or people who knew my music name, Bougie Savage, but I only went by Z. All of a sudden, everybody started calling me Bougie Savage in the same day, and it was just all of these echoes from the universe and the quantum field telling me that I was shifting my reality, and then all of a sudden, opportunities started to show up, and then I landed in like a photo shoot and people were asking for my signature all randomly, and the universe is constantly testing you to see if you're paying attention. So make sure that you are following your frequency and not necessarily your circumstances. I know it can be challenging, especially if you are impoverished. I've been there many times, but our energy and how we hold ourselves dictates where we're going to go next. So just make sure that you at least allow yourself to dream bigger than the circumstances that you are in, because you deserve that. The journal question for this is, where am I still letting my circumstances dictate my energy? And what frequency do I choose instead? So that's a big one. What do I choose instead of the frequency that I've been in? You have to consciously make these decisions. I have seen many times, which is where people fall short with their manifestations or they give up too early, is they are thinking that things happen to them and that they don't have to make decisions. But when you are quantum jumping and you're literally shifting your reality and changing your income and like getting echoes back to you, like it's because you are being conscious about it, but also shifting your subconscious, and then energy has no other choice but to respond, because you know are no longer sending out the signal that you are impoverished and all of these things, right? So you have to consciously choose it with manifestation. That's how they also say like take aligned action. That's you consciously choosing to be a better person. That's you consciously choosing to remove people from your life that no longer need to be there. That's you consciously choosing that you make more money because you say so. You say so, and that is your reality. The mind and energy are a very powerful tool, and when you use to harness it correctly, you can create what you want. Hi. Love this. I feel this, what I'm learning now. Ah, beautiful. So I'm glad this is right on time. Hi, Fairy. Hello. How's it going? Number 4, and I have one more after this. Act from overflow, not proving. We don't prove, we move from overflow. Quantum moves from clarity and overflow, not desperation. When you act from I am the one, your field rearranges instantly. So let's say you're like a content creator. When you embody the frequency of being a leader in that space, that becomes your reality, not from the sense of like, I deserve this because blah, 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 blah. No, like if you're a leader, be the leader, and the universe responds. The universe responds. And it's also how some teachers will tell you that when you are so desperate for something and you try and chase it, the manifestation goes further and further and further away, because your frequency, that neediness, the desperation cannot match that frequency. Your highest self is not sitting there like, I need this right now, because they already have it. They already know. They have it. They already know. They know it's coming, and like it's not a thing. Um, and desperation is a lower frequency. So it makes it harder for you to attach to the higher frequencies and be in flow state when you are trying to force all of your energy. It's like forcing your energy through a tiny tube and expecting yourself to get like a really big wind at the end, right? Like it just doesn't make sense. So pay attention to that, and be really unbiased about how you show up with your manifestations, even if you are online or not online, or showing up with people or family members, and even for yourself. So the journal prompt that you can reflect on is, what is one action I can take today that comes from overflow, not fear, hustle, or proving? So again, that's not from fear, not from hustle or proving. You're welcome to write it in the chat as well. Overflow is something, just like point number 3, that you have to consciously choose to move towards. If you are consistently tired, you're going to have a very low amount of overflow. If you are consistently holding energy for other people and not yourself, you're not going to have an overflow of energy to channel the information you need to continue to quantum jump and follow your intuition, because spirit can't come in when you're too busy blabbing with other people and trying to solve their problems instead of helping yourself out. So be mindful about the decisions that you make every single day, not just on full moons, not just on new moons, not just quarter moons, not just when I'm live, not just when you're in a class. It's every single day. Your quantum field is communicating with you every single day, down to like how you dress, how you eat, how you show up, how you make decisions, how people speak to you, because it is the reality. So for instance, if I'm outside and someone invites me places, like I have a rule, I never really say yes on the spot, because I give myself time. I give myself time to decide. And if it's super urgent, then I just don't go because I'm like, no, I need to check in with myself. And I always take action from overflow. If for some reason someone's like, oh, we're working on a project and we need this, it's like, I ask questions. Well, where was this information before, so that I can plan going forward? I still don't take the aligned action. So when you do that sort of work, not only do people know how to treat you, you're not proving yourself, right? Because some people on the spot, if someone were to ask them a question like, hey, do you want to hang out? Do you want to blah, blah, blah? Do you want to like sniff flowers? You feel pressured and you're like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll never do it. I'll never do that. I don't do that anymore, because I'm like, I'll get back to you later. I'll get back to you by 4 p.m. today when I have time to process this. Right now, I'm leaving. Or you can text me and ask me if I forget, because I don't answer questions while walking. Um, but be mindful, how many decisions throughout the day are you making from a state of fear? If it comes to money and times are hard, or losing friendships, family, do you feel like you can actually rest when you're running your business, or taking care of your family? Or do you feel like you're in a cycle of hustle and not taking care of yourself, and having to prove your worth on social media? Proving can also look like, because I work with a lot of content creators, is constantly trying to gauge your success by your number instead of just building your business. And while yes, analytics are important, but if you're in the beginning and building a foundation for your business, the view number doesn't quite matter until you have enough videos out there to see who's watching it and how they're watching it, right? You have to put the stuff out to see how it does. So pay attention to that. And, at the end of the day, just because someone has a really large number doesn't mean they're actually good at what they do. We've seen that. We've seen that in the world over and over and over again. And I used to tell myself that all the time as I was coaching and healing. Because there was a moment where people were coming to me who had ginormous audiences asking to do stuff. And I was like, I don't understand. I don't know what's happening here. And they're like, I just really need to convert into making money. And I know you make money. And it's like, this is a prime example of how we need to actually help people and nurture them versus trying to prove ourselves with numbers, right? Because as my favorite coach says, if you have 200 followers, if you don't know how to take care of them or nurture them, you're not going to know at 10,000. So what's it matter? Like, focus on building a foundation so that it gets easier and easier and easier as you begin to grow. Hi, Aubrey. How are you? For number 5, the last point is trust the unseen more than the seen. Quantum expansion is the art of trusting spirit, or trusting God, the universe, whatever you believe in, your highest self, and your destiny more than your logical mind. What? This is where miracles begin to slip in. I love this space. It's the only way you're going to make leaps. that doesn't mean that you put yourself into harm's way. Like, I'm literally going to say that because I feel like some people might take that phrase a little bit too far. Um, but the only way you're going to quantum leap and shift in your reality is if you truly do trust the unseen. There's been times in my life where it was only in the unseen that I was able to achieve what I could achieve, because only God and my ancestors and my guides could work the magic that they worked to get me in front of the right people in that way. Nothing else mattered to them to lead me, even if it meant midday I'm going to go to this sandwich shop and sit there, and for some reason the right person showed up and they had what I needed, right, which then led me to the show, which led me to all these things. So when you can fully surrender to something that you can't see and trust that it's all going to work out because you're embodying the highest frequency, your reality changes so fucking quick. Like, it's still bananas to me to think how fast everything changed. And this is why I say it's so important for you to have really great spiritual practices that you can lean into no matter what you believe in. Just make sure you are being consistent. Your rising routine is the most important thing. Also, I'll be sharing the link for anybody who hasn't signed up yet. Magical Morning Routines starts on December 15th to the 19th. It's absolutely free. And I'm going to be teaching in the rising 5 empowered practices to ascended happiness to make sure you can elevate your energy. I'm doing good, just tuning in while I organize my goals. Amazing. I was just talking about goals. Who else has goals? I'm doing fabulous. I feel very energized, very awake. And we have Z School for the Gifted tonight. We're going over past life and generational healing, and we're going to do a shamanic journey. And it's going to be awesome. So if anybody wants to go, you're welcome to be there. Yay! I'm super, super excited. And it doesn't look like it's going to be a super packed class, which is nice because that means we can really dig into everyone's spirituality and do some fun channeling, which I'm pumped about. So make sure you bring comfortable clothes and you are in a comfortable space. Some folks, even for the journey, they turn all their lights off. That's totally fine too. I've had people fall asleep on the call and I just end the call and they can just keep going to sleep. So whatever you want to do, it's completely up to you. So the journal prompt for point number 5 is, where am I being called to trust the unseen more deeply, and what would it look like if I surrendered that fully? You're welcome to also answer in the chat. Hi, Jay. You're welcome to answer that in the chat, because people don't like to admit sometimes, which I've noticed with a lot of people that I've coached, that the universe is always asking you to surrender a little bit deeper, but there's way more resistance than they would like to let on. And I get it, because you've been raised your entire life to believe that you can't trust the unseen, or maybe you've had church hurt. If you do have church hurt, please watch the video that I made about healing your church hurt. It doesn't mean that you have to go back to church. It doesn't mean that you have to believe in God, but there's a lot of gems in there around healing your connection to the unseen, because it is something that is a part of your decolonization work, meaning, our ancestors were stripped away from many of their practices and stripped away from their connection from the divine, and a more distorted connection was taught to us and passed down out of like colonization and imperialization, like imperialism, I mean. So you may carry that energy in you. And so even if you just address the church hurt, it's going to help you down the road anyways, be able to receive more, because you can begin to trust the unseen. You're excited for it. Yay, more intimate circle. Yeah, when it's an intimate circle, I have so much fun. Sometimes I even do little fun surprises for everybody, and I give something away because I feel like it. I'm like, oh yay, it's so much fun. Wish I could be there financially this week, but I'll be there next week. Amazing. Let me put really quickly I'm going to put in the chat, in case anybody hasn't signed up, the magical morning routines for folks to join. Yeah, it's absolutely free. And if you can't come to all the days, that's totally fine too. But those are my 5 points. I hope that was helpful. And feel free to let me know in the chat, like, how are you feeling about your quantum jumping? Is this the first time you've heard about quantum jumping or leaping? Do you follow me on TikTok? I'm making quantum jumping videos there like every other day, trying to do it every day, but it doesn't always happen. If I don't feel aligned to channel that day, it don't work out. But I can drop my TikTok handle so everybody has it. Um, it's been a fun journey. There we go. It's different than the content that I post on here than on my Instagram as well. But yeah, are you familiar with quantum jumping, quantum energy, the quantum field? I feel like it's heavily tied into manifestation, but it's more a sciencey way of talking about it. But I feel like it's important, and why I started talking about quantum jumping and quantum entanglement on TikTok is because on YouTube there is such a wild algorithm that puts people into deeper entanglements energetically with people who they think are their twin flame and soulmate, and they forget about their healing, and explaining quantum entanglement with the addition of spirituality and dealing with limerence and healing, and how it's deeply rooted in a lot of trauma, and how to get out of it and recognize it while being gifted is important. No one's talking about that. They're literally just um, making videos on YouTube, which is helpful for some people to find love. But if you don't know that you have the trauma and you don't know what cycle you're in within your quantum jumping and quantum healing, you will easily land up in quantum entanglement, and it's very hard to get out of. And I'm actually going to drop a video tonight on how to get out of quantum entanglement, which is basically like, if you have someone in your life who you feel really drawn towards, like you've had a lot of synchronicities, you feel like your paths are intertwined, you may have like romantic feelings for them and you don't understand why. Maybe you've never even met them, but you have like this entire story. That there's a lot to unpack with that. And so I'm talking about it on TikTok and like explaining it a lot more in detail than I can here on this channel. I feel like this concept following me has been following me this year. Yeah, it's really important. It's coming to the surface, and I also like, it's important to talk about it with the lens of decolonization and psychology and science and spirituality and manifestation, because there's like a chasm in the manifestation space. And I feel like there's a lot of leaders who are capitalizing on manifestation and not fully addressing people's healing, and forgetting that there's folks who are neurodivergent and also extremely gifted and ancestral and seers, and so when they get into a quantum entanglement, they can literally drive themselves bananas. And sometimes that means people end up on the street because people think they're crazy, but it's not. It's like there's so much more going on in this journey and your soul path. And so we have to stop looking at it so linear, and we have to stop looking at it as like, manifest that car, manifest that house, manifest this. Like, let's make sure you are happy and healthy, and your manifestations will come really easy. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not going to ignore the fact that you're also neurodivergent, you've been houseless and traumatized. And yes, you are stuck in this cycle because your soul is expanding, but you also have many lessons to learn. And I'm going to teach you how to heal from it and get out of it, right? Because sometimes people get stuck in the same cycle. And that's what I was talking to people about in the chat, and they're like, I feel like I'm stuck because they keep going. Basically, the karmic wheel resets. If you don't pass your test that year, it resets and you are back in the same place, but the reality looks a little bit different. And so people are like, I'm trying to use my discernment, but it's like if they don't know what they're missing, they can't heal it, right? And so the algorithm on YouTube heavily lends itself to people not healing in the spiritual space. And so I'm like trying to take over the TikTok algorithm. And eventually I'll probably put some stuff on here. But if you are interested in that stuff and you feel like it's coming forward for you, I highly recommend you follow me on TikTok. Oh my gosh, yes, a lot of misinformation and glamour. Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. Go follow me, like my post, comment, do all the things. Um and I love TikTok because it's like TikTok University, as people say, and so it's easier to get the message out there and it moved more quickly. Um, and like sometimes there are these little pockets on on YouTube where it's like unless you kind of fit into that niche and then you shift a little bit, the algorithm slows down and you have to like retweak it. Um, so I can impact a lot of people more quickly on there, at least right now, because this has happened. But definitely go follow, and it's just important. How many of you have TikTok? How many of you have TikTok? Are you following me already? You should follow me. Do any of you have TikTok? um, and it's such an honor, and I'm gonna be sharing some more singing videos and things like that. And also follow me on the Travel Savage Diaries. The next couple episodes are I'm going to be digging in really deeply into some of the things that I experience day to day so that you can see what the journey is like. Obviously, there's some fun circumstances and like certain conversations that I have with people, I don't videotape it out of, respect for them and privacy, but I try to like explain it just a little bit so people can figure out how I actually how I actually got there and wherever spirit is leading me, so that you also feel safe taking these quantum jumps and just realizing that it has to start somewhere, right? But like when you're in that energy of I'm ready to leap, I'm ready to grow, I'm ready to change, spirit will come in and like lift you all the way up. I follow you on TikTok. Yay! I do and about to follow you now. Amazing. Yes, go follow me on TikTok. It's a fun time. And as I mentioned, I'm going to drop a video tonight. And if anybody didn't see, if anybody's looking for a laugh, my friend and I created Black Girl Questions Meet White Girl Magic. Have any of you streamed that podcast yet? I just put it up on the Travel Savage Diaries actually as the podcast there. But you can definitely check it out. Has anybody seen it, streamed it? Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyone? Bueller? um, but we talk about spirituality, a little bit of colonialism, but also neurodiversity. If you were on the live before when Meg came on and talked about how parents can help their children if they are neurodivergent and that sort of thing, it's the same person. So she is a leader in her field, and we are now collaborating together on a podcast. And she knows absolutely nothing about spirituality, like not like she doesn't feel a thing, she doesn't get it, like, and it's really funny to have her ask questions. But it's also us coming together and sharing a story of like bringing community together in love. Of like, even though she likes to say she's like white from New Hampshire, she saw like one black person the other day. Like she's like so far out. But she's very open. She is, she brings community together in very neurodiverse, very loving, very sparkly. And we met on the reality TV show. And so now she's back and we're partnering up to like team up. I will drop the link. Good idea. Good idea. Let me get it right now. to share it with you all. Yeah, she's amazing. And I know I haven't been posting everything, so I'm gonna be sharing what I can. I've been quite busy lately, so if for some reason you're not seeing as many videos, that's why. Just a little bit more busy on the back end of things, but I'm going to continue to try and go live as much as I can. And I do have another video coming out for the Travel Savage Diaries. You know what? I'll share that too. I should share that, don't you think? Let me share that one. Here we go. I will put it here. It's a channel that I started a while back, but wasn't able to complete the journey. And so now it's back, and now we are getting back to it. And there's also some stuff going to drop on Substack. I'm only one person, clearly, so not always able to complete everything. But how are you all doing lately? How's your energy? This is also like a full check-in. And then I'm going to get going in a little bit. But how are you all doing? How are you managing? How are you leaning into this energy for Sagittarius season and your manifestations? It's hugely important time right now. How's it going? Yay, you sub! So exciting. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. Has anybody seen any of the episodes on Travel Savage Diaries? Has anybody seen them? Hey, Antoinette! How's it going? Has anybody seen any of them? The first one, I actually talk about a really weird encounter, and it also had to do with Michael Jackson. And I was like, I haven't really told this story, so I'm just going to tell this story. It's most of the video, but I'm going to be sharing some more stories like that because I feel like my life gets really creepy. I feel like people should know. So then when you start doing your quantum jumping, or if you experience, other spirits and messengers, you're not scared of it and you can believe it. Just believe it. It's easy to do. Has nobody seen it who's here today? Nobody's seen an episode of the Travel Savage Diaries? Antoinette, have you? You just joined. Hi, Antoinette. I haven't seen them yet. Excited to check out more content. Thanks for answering, Claire. Yeah, you should definitely check it out and let me know what you think. Comment on them. I'm here feeling like it should be Friday, but it's only Wednesday. I woke up kind of feeling like that today too. I'm a little bit tired today. I actually took 2 really short power naps. But yeah, I went on a run today and on Monday, and so my body's just trying to adjust. But it's fun. It's fun. We were talking about quantum jumping. Antoinette or anybody, do you follow the Travel Savage Diaries? The link is there if you need it. And do any of you have questions? You can ask me a question. I'm excited for tonight. Past life and generational healing. We're going to be meditating too. Woo! I feel great, a little tired, but overall I feel calm and in good spirits. I love that. Are you tired, energetic, like from energetics, or just life? Just life. I get a little bit more dehydrated here because it's very, very hot. I actually have a special water that I get delivered so that I can replenish my body because I exercise a lot. But like when I go running, it's like I feel like my whole body just fell out. I'm like, what's happening here? Why does it feel this way? But I'm glad you're in good spirits. I love that word. You're in good spirits. Do you have good spirits around? I think you do. I saw your TikTok about seers. I would love to touch on that tonight. I feel like my energy is going through upgrades, especially my nervous system. Yeah. If again, anybody, I also did a video on being a seer and signs and what you actually need to know about it. So go follow me on TikTok if you don't already to go check it out. I've only seen oh wait, I'm excited to talk about being a seer. It's, as I kind of said, it's like being a souped up psychic, and it's a different life. It's a fully different life. I haven't met many seers on my path. Like I've met some of them, but they're all kind of like spread out, like seers who have truly accepted their path and are following it fully surrendered. It's rare to find people like that. I have only seen the announcement video, but not any of the content yet. What? Internet. Go check it out. Tell me what you think. And if anybody wants to laugh again, go check out Black Girl Magic Meets White Girl Questions. Just listen to it. You don't have to pay attention to it because it's one of those podcasts where we're just like enjoying our neurodiversity and there's no structure. I have been feeling hella tired the past 2 days. Yeah, the energy is like um it's, if you're jumping right now, if you're actively jumping, you're going to feel a little bit more tired. So make sure that you are getting a lot of nourishment, a lot of sun, a lot of rest. I've been canceling plans with people because I'm like, nope, Z goes to bed. It's like, see you later. But also for the last week and a half, like if you're jumping, you may have spurts of like a couple weeks, depending on how big your manifestation is, a couple weeks or a week of just not sleeping very well because the energy is approaching you and it's going to feel like a massive thing and your body's like trying to recalibrate and then the universe is helping you cleanse and a little bit comes and then like all these things and so eventually you get tired and you have like a built up um, like reservoir of adrenaline and sensing that energy moving to you, which is why the exercise is so important, so that you can calm your mind, you can alchemize the energy, and you can ground in, so your manifestation just slips into your life. But because manifestation is so fast right now in November, I mean December. Why do I keep saying November? I need to write that down. Things are going to feel a little chaotic. So you have to like really hone in on what you're wanting, like get as much clarity as you can every single day. Like make taking care of yourself like a sport. You are now in the Olympics of quantum jumping. Everybody sit down. I wish I had a thing, but I've got this ruler. It's not the same as like a laser pointer or like a stick that I don't have a board. But you know what I mean? Like if I had a whistle, I would be the female version of Coach from New Girl, but it's about quantum jumping. And you are now in the Olympics of quantum jumping. That's how I'm going to explain it. Make sense? Okay, gotcha. Dream time has been nonstop. Ooh, what are you dreaming about? Anybody else having dream things happening? I love the dream space lately. I wake up like, who the what? And then I go write it down. If I can't write it down fast enough, I will groggy with my phone, be like, and then go back to sleep. And I'll listen to it and hope that it makes sense. Also, one of my favorite tips, if you can't remember to write stuff down, do a little audio message. Although I'm pretty sure, don't ever do texting when you're half awake, because sometimes I will like try and create a note or like text myself. And one time I didn't text myself, I texted somebody else and I regretted it. And I regretted it because it was a whole bunch of nonsense and things that they didn't need to know about. So be mindful about where you send things. Yes, lots of past life soul gifts. Yeah, it's in the energy right now, which is why I'm glad we're going to be doing the meditation tonight and digging into your spiritual questions. I'm not going to have a PowerPoint tonight. It's mostly going to be the open Q&A forum, channeling, and then the journey. I'm glad you find it funny. It's just, you can't help but laugh at these things because it's like, you are who you are. It wasn't my best. It wasn't my best decision, but like you live, you learn, and what's that cereal commercial? You live, you learn, and what's the Kicks commercial? Been like repeating commercials lately, and I don't even watch TV. And the other day I was telling someone about Kellogg. Who knows? Maybe they'll pop up in the news. But how many of you are cataloging your dreams right now? And don't be lying. And okay, can we talk about something? Some people, like when I ask questions, if I'm like, how many of you are doing this? Someone goes, I used to do that. That's not you doing it. Just so we're clear. Do you do it? Yes or no? That's all we can do is laugh at ourselves and not take life too seriously. Exactly. Like if I don't know if anybody saw the video on TikTok about the nail polish exploding. Like I shared it on TikTok because I was like, it literally looks like a horrible scene and my legs were stained. It's like if I didn't find that funny, I probably would have been so upset. And the fact that I still had paint all over my white floors. God works in mysterious ways. I haven't been. Ah, ¿por qué? How come you're not writing down your dreams? Oh, we got a yes, I do. What do you discover from your dreams? Anybody else? Are you taking apart your dreams right now? You should be. Some people say you shouldn't say should. I feel like sometimes you need a should. Sometimes you need a should. Depends on the circumstance, right? If you're healing through not overworking and you sit at your desk and say, I should do this, probably not the best time to use should. If you're actively trying to grow and heal and sharpen your psychic skills and you're not writing down your dreams or you're doing something else with your dreams, this is not towards you, Antoinette. I'm just using it as an example. Then you definitely should be doing that. I feel like there's always a time and a space and a circumstance for it to really work out. I haven't been remembering them like I usually do. Ah, are you sensing any emotions or anything when you wake up? Sometimes right before manifestations come in, it can get cloudy. My dreams are prophetic and very informative. It would take a whole separate live to type everything out. Yeah, I totally get that. So are mine. I totally, that's why I do the audio messages when I can, or I just bullet point like one word things so that I can get it out. That's why I believe I am a seer. Okay. Yeah, seeing is a really powerful gift, and there's no limit to the capacity of being a seer. Like it's really all about evolving the gift in the way that you want to. But I will say what keeps people's gift from evolving is their fear of the spiritual realm. Because I see a lot of people who have the potential to be really powerful seers, but they have zero faith in the spiritual realm. They have zero faith in themselves. They think they have faith, but they do not actually trust the unseen. And that's because they don't trust themselves and they don't have the resources and the tools to be able to get comfortable enough to trust the unseen or to trust themselves. Like they just are believing things. Like I literally will watch people just freak out about like nothing. And I'm like, I don't think you understand how far into your fear you really are. And it's quite sad, but like there's a lot of people out there who have really powerful seeing gifts, but they're too scared. They're too scared to access it, and it's totally fine. I just am the opposite. I was like, what can I see? Like there was never a moment where I was like, ooh, no, I'm not trying to see that. Like even when ancestors would come, I told them to slow down and like not do that because it was overwhelming me. Like I don't want to wake up and see a group of you outside my window. Like, can you not do that? It's really weird. Like you look real. I think there's people outside. So don't do that. But like you eventually have to get used to things being extremely magical, just like I said in that video, and realizing that really strong seers like myself will see based also on the like your 3D reality. Seeing is not like some people think, oh, you just look in a crystal ball and you're just a clairvoyant. No, 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 no. Like we see in real time. Well, I will see a scene unfold and then it will happen. Like it's not like just visions. Like yeah, I can see the visions, I can sense it, I can all the things, look into people's timeline, but then it's like I know when someone's coming because a physical manifestation of them will come to me. Like it's like a physical manifestation of them come or swarms around me, and then it's like it happens. That's not like, but some people aren't able to receive that because they're so far into fear and don't fully understand how their gifts work. um and if you can receive possession, like when angels or guides or ancestors come through people, it gets easier. But a lot of people don't even want to touch possession, even though it's like you're not possessed, bruh. Like they're possessing other people and talking to you through them. They're a messenger. There's no difference between the messengers in the Bible and the messengers like from your ancestors. It's all the same gift. You just categorize it differently because of colonialism. I've been having either strong feelings or program myself to remember the theme before I fully awaken. Oh, nice. That's a good practice because then you'll be able to access it later. Even if you don't consciously remember everything, if you were to like sit down and meditate, you could likely pull up the emotion. And my cats have been waking me up between 2 and 5 for the past few days. They're like, hey, this is divine timing. I need you to wake up. Oh my gosh, yes. Hi, chosen big dog. Like it's I think it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. But I will also say for seers, you have to be careful with who you hang out with, because when people start to see that you can get messages like that in person, they either get in the way, they siphon, or they will backhandedly gaslight you unless you have a community that like understands that that's just how you're gifted. But you can also communicate in the spiritual realm to not do things when other people are around, but sometimes it just happens. It literally just happens. And there were times when I was out, and usually when it happened with someone else around, that person was also siphoning. Every single time I noticed that. I was like, why? Because anybody else who doesn't, they're never around when it happens. Like they never were around. But anytime that there were people around, it turned out that like I had somehow gotten attached to them, and blah 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 blah. And I'd have to sit there and be like, be quiet, please. This is not about you. This is not about you. But seers are really cool. Like it's like, to heck with all the superhero movies. We have literal superheroes walking around the street real time. Like I'm gonna stand outside this house and look inside. Don't do that. That's creepy. But you know what I mean? Like it's like there's so many talented people, and yet people still pay so much money to go see the movies, which I get. It's totally fine. But it would be cool if real gifted people were getting paid the money. You know what I mean? In honor of the ancestors. in honor of the ancestors who did not get paid their portion, who did not get paid their portion. And even some of them were enslaved, to with the government because they were using them for their gifts. So if you are someone who is gifted or seer or anything like that, honor your gifts, thank your ancestors, and live your life, because a lot of them didn't have the option to be as free as you. They didn't have YouTube, they didn't have TikTok, they didn't have these spaces. And practicing in the open, or even saying they were a seer, um, or having the option to like not go to church and that sort of thing, like a lot of them didn't have that option, and you have that option. So it is a gift and a beautiful journey when you can tap into it, and create whatever boundaries you need. Because the more you let people know that you are gifted, you will naturally have people gravitate towards you because they want to know things, right? Which most of the time, when you are really gifted, and depending on if you're a light worker and all that stuff, you are meant to heal people. So they will naturally find you. It's your job. Um, but to also have boundaries, like I'm very clear with people who come on consultation calls and things like that. If they're just looking for a session, I will tell them to pay because that's not what the consultation call is about. Um, I'm here to assist you, and I can evaluate you, but you know, I have boundaries with my gifts, and I don't I like my gifts come from the divine and my ancestors and my guides. So if I don't get paid, they don't get paid. And I'm not trying to, there's no free labor here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, we're going to rewrite the story for ourselves and for our ancestors. Like, just because I have a gift doesn't mean I'm sharing it with you, but I'm happy to help you. Um, and if you're not able to pay, there's a million resources on my page that you could use until then. So just see your boundaries. See your boundaries. I know I'm going on a tangent, but I just really felt called to share that. And I'm excited for tonight, to talk more about this in Z School for the Gifted. I'll actually drop the link because I haven't dropped the link for that yet. Um, boop, boop, boop. And if anybody didn't realize, it is now on Wednesdays because people voted to have it on Wednesdays. So it's Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Cancun time. Right now, we're aligned with EST. So 6 p.m. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I'm happy to share. I love talking about this stuff because um, if we don't talk about it, we don't know how to manage our lives. And trying to manage a gift while also like trying to fully function in a reality where people don't acknowledge gifted people could be one of, or is one of the most isolating things you can experience. And so the more people like me who share their own life about just being freakishly gifted encourages other folks to know that there is a way to still be out in public, even if you are hearing people's thoughts, right? Like there is a way. And it's a journey, but there is a way for you to get there, because a lot of people end up just shutting themselves inside, but that's no way to live, right? So me being visible, and if any of you have channels, you being visible, teach people that gifts are normal. Gifts are normal. You can manage your life, even if the moon is is bananas. Like one of the moons, it was so strong. I thought I was having a full body hive, like a hive reaction, but I wasn't. It just was energy, and I could feel it. It was like my body was like being stretched like Laffy Taffy. And my friend was like, "Oh, the moon is rising." And I was like, "Ah." And then once it ended, it stopped. But I was like, "Ah." She's like, "You're so interesting." Thanks. I appreciate you supporting me no matter what. She's like, "Do we need to do anything? Shall we sit in silence, meditate? What do you normally do?" Like it's becoming more normal. Like you can manifest people into your life that like actually support you. And the other day someone was like, we're having it's called like a death cafe where they go and talk about death so that they can grieve. And I was like, I'm actually not gonna go because it would probably like I was like I'm just gonna pick up on a lot of ancestors, and I don't feel like doing that right now. And then they're like, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't think about that. Thank you for sharing that with me. Like probably not a good idea to be in a room of people talking about it because you channel ancestors all day. So it's like you just know your boundaries. Do you personalize sessions like that fits a budget for both of us? It depends on the budget. Like sometimes I will make equity exceptions like I did for More Than Worthy. I had an equity plan for about like a year and a half, and then I closed it so that I could restructure my business. I don't usually adjust prices because that's the price for what I'm offering. But if there's like a dire need, like I always encourage people to book a call with me and just see, because I might be able to just like tweak the session, um, and see what I can do depending on what you need. And all because and also the thing is, you may think that you need a certain type of session, but after I talk to you, I can tell you what you actually need. Because even if you look down the sessions and things like that, like you're only going to know so much. So I always encourage, if you need anything, like you can ask me tonight, and or you can book a consultation and we can chat about it. Um, because I'll be able to know once I see you too, like and give a recommendation. But sometimes I do, depending on the need and things like that. And I also like to read energy. um some people have ruined it for other people, that type of energy. And so I just need to make sure that I'm getting compensated for my time, but I will always do my best to help in whatever way I can. So never be like hesitant to ask. Please ask. I highly recommend that you ask. Okay, we'll book a consultation because a lot has shifted from our last session. Okay. Yeah, like, and there's different types of sessions and things like that. Cause you did the fly with me session, I think last time. But sometimes like I have another client who comes like, she like she does a fly with me session and then she manifests a bunch, and then she like comes back the next year and then manifests it, like she's in this cycle. And so basically we don't do the same format for her because I know her. And so when she comes back and books a fly with me session, then I can curate it based on where she's at because I can see her progression and I know her, and I can channel the energy. So there's also that option. So even if you've done one type of session, it doesn't mean it will be the same format. Does that answer your question? Is that what you were asking? Yes, my new financial area is here and excited to book a consultation as well. Yay! Yes, everybody book a consultation. Please, like, I invite you to, right? Like I say, quiet mouths don't get fed. I can't help you if I don't know about it. And you can't help yourself and know what's offered or what could happen for you if you don't ask. That sounds like me. Yeah, it's her way of working. And so we can shift so much energy just like you in that 2 hour session that she just fucking catapults, because she's also very great, like you are, at following through and sustaining themselves for a long period of time. And so they just actively take the advice and implement it. She doesn't have a problem being on her own in that sense. Like she only needs guidance for a short amount of time, and then she's like, I got this. And then she fucking flies away and does amazing things. And then it's like, okay, let's do a tune up. Let's tune up. Let's get your flight gear on. Yeah, you two are quite similar. That would be perfect. Yeah, absolutely. I'm here to help. So I'll drop the chat or drop the chat. I'll drop it in the chat. And also, I know it's called a Queendom consultation call, but any gender. I just wanted to call it that because I could do whatever I want. That would be perfect. Yes. Yes. Everybody book a consultation call. Claire, I'm excited to talk to you. Everybody, just come say hi. I'm always willing to help um, within the means that I have. And, I've also had times where it's like I've had a consultation call with someone and they might be asking for something and it's a service that I have on the back burner that I just haven't brought back out yet, and it might already exist. Like it literally might already be there, and then it's like you might be the person to be asking for something that's been lingering around, and I'm like, oh, let me just click the button. So come ask questions. I'm always happy to tweak things. Obviously, I'm here for the light warriors and the healers and folks who are really involved in the community. And I know all of you quite well, and I know the impact that you can make. So I'm happy to hold space. I'm happy to hold space, everybody. But yeah, you can use that link and book a call, and we can just jump right in and be open and talk about what you need and then get you all settled to move forward. Woo! Now I don't feel right not holding my ruler. I wish this was cooler. I'm rhyming a lot. I usually have a gold ruler. I couldn't find a gold ruler anywhere, so I had to settle for this. But I learned my friend Sunshine has gold spray. So I'm going to be crafty. But I also learned that it's not transparent. So I would lose all of the measurements and it would just become a gold stick. So how about them apples? I heart you all. You're all so amazing. I'm going to go in like 5 minutes. I might actually go on a walk. I get a little antsy sometimes after these calls because it's just me channeling and doing all the things. And I'm like, la, 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 la. Let me ground myself. Was this helpful for you all today? Are you going to go back and watch the video and answer the questions? What do you say? Si se puede. That's what you're going to say, right? Everybody? Everybody? I need to drink some tea. I also feel as though I was more dehydrated than I thought. I'm hydrating myself, and so I feel a lot better. Today's the day where I'm going to overshare. You're welcome. Bye for now. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, bye, bye. So helpful. Yes, si se puede. Yay! I'm so excited, and I can't wait to see you all in Z School for the Gifted again, or Magic to Market if you really need to get your business off the ground. As I mentioned, I will literally walk you through how to set up your TikTok or YouTube. That space is for you. Like, I hold this space to help you get to where you want to be. But again, like I don't, since all of them are Q&A forums, like if you're like, hey Z, I don't know how to edit this video, or hey Z, I don't know how this algorithm works, or hey Z, is this even a good calendaring system? Or hey Z, I'm overwhelmed, right? Like these spaces are literally for you to come. And I'm going to be reaching out more to you all, and make sure that's clear so you understand that you can come as you are, whatever stage you're in, beginning of business, middle business, like long-standing business, so you can get the support. I also know a lot of things about like platforms and processing fees and tax things and whatnot. So just come say hi. We'll have to watch the beginning. Yes, definitely watch the beginning. I go through the 5 tips, and each tip has a journal prompt. So you're welcome to watch it and also write at the same time. I'm going to start doing that for a lot of the videos. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok. And I will see you all tonight. Travel Savage Diaries drops on Friday. And don't forget to listen to, oh wait, I forgot The Art of Love and Magnetism is also on Friday. Don't forget to listen to Black Girl Magic meets White Girl Questions. It's really funny and hilarious. And I will be sending out an email probably in the next week or so with all the information. But you can also sign up for the emails below in the description if you're not getting them. But anyways, folks, I will see you later. Thanks for hanging around. I'm sending you lots of love. Again, don't forget to book your consultation call so I can help you out in chat, and let's just catapult you into the quantum field. All right, everyone. I'll see you later. Ciao.